Hi, how are we doing? Nick from Beer-Gineers here. And next up for review, we've got something that's not particularly on brand for this channel, but I'm going to do it anyway. We've got a can of Stella Artois. A lager coming in at 4.6%. And it is brewed with Saaz hops, high quality malts, apparently, it says in the can. And it's brewed by Stella Artois. It's actually owned by Budweiser. So let's just get a bit of preamble to this. I think a bit of context is necessary. So amazingly, it might be difficult to believe, but it's true. I've not drunk this beer this century. Yeah, it was probably in the 90s I last had it. And arguably, I would say I've never had this beer. Because the Stella years ago was a different beer, basically. So I'm old enough to remember when Stella was a premium product. Some very clever advertising campaigns behind it. The one that I really liked was you've got the organ, the French organ music, the old picturesque French 19th century village. Stranger wanders in. Automatically, you know, he steps up. He mends a broken wagon wheel for someone on the track coming in. Helps a little old lady. Puts out a fire or something. Yeah, so he's basically a hero, and he comes into the French tavern, and he's monsieur. You know, he's greeted with much applause. So what are you drinking? And he goes, un Stella Artois, s'il vous plaît. And everyone just goes like that and just slinks away. And then you get the strapline, reassuringly expensive. Yeah, so this was a premium product years ago. It used to be 5.2%. Then it was reduced to 5%, then 4.8%, and now it's 4.6%, amazingly enough. I read an article by Pete Brown about Stella, entitled Death of a Thousand Cuts, and how effectively it's been whittled away in terms of that. I don't know why they did it, because when I did marketing sort of training years ago, you know, one of the sort of mantras is, you know, and literally they do say this, apologies for the language, don't fuck with brands. Yeah, once you've got a strong brand, don't mess with it. Yeah, mess with it at your peril. But they did for whatever reason. I don't know why they didn't acquire, I don't know, something like a Carling or a Foster's, or, you know, not necessarily those beers, but something like that, and then, you know, sell this to the masses, because this is a mass market beer. It's cheap as chips. I think if you buy it in a pack of 16, you can get it for like something like 80 quid a can, something insanely cheap. And if we look on the ingredients, so apparently it's brewed with high quality malts, but one issue I have with it already, it says it's brewed with water, barley malts, maize and hops. Okay, so it's got maize in, yeah, effectively. Dried sweet corn flakes. And there's two reasons behind that. One is the cost, so it's cheaper than malts. And secondly, apparently also due to taste testing, the mass market taste tests show that people don't like too much hops. They don't like, you know, the average beer drinker doesn't like beers that are too hoppy, too malty, and so they've effectively deliberately blandified it to make it more appealing. Okay. Now, with all that said, I'm really, you know, sounds like I'm negative. I am going to honestly park all that sort of conscious and unconscious bias. In a way, I'm envious of Stella drinkers and macro beer drinkers, because, you know, I can tell you what, you're spending a hell of a lot less money than me on your beer. Are you getting as much pleasure from it? I don't know. But I've deliberately set this up as the first beer of the week. Yes, I haven't had a beer all week. So I'm hoping it's going to get a first beer of the week bounce. And you know, if I like it, I like it. And I'm going to rate it as a lager. Now, if you've not watched these videos before, if you've come on this video by happenstance, I am one of these craft beer tossers, basically. So I do like hoppy IPAs, you know, imperial stouts, all this sort of stuff, which you might think is just trendy crap. I personally love it. So I'm just going to rate it as a lager. Now, I'm not a lager drinker. I think but I do really like good continental lagers, you know, German, Czech lagers, you know, Czech Republic, anywhere around there, anywhere where they really do sort of. I have to say they do it better on the continent, and that's why years ago we started importing our lager, because people started apparently going on package holidays, drinking proper Heineken, drinking proper sort of German and continental lager, and thinking, well, this is amazing. It's not just stronger; it just tastes better, and so that's why that happened. But anyway, let's get into glass. See what we've got. Okay, so it's a beautiful crystal clear colour. So it's not like my normal. I mean, it's the clearest looking beer I've ever seen. We've got a couple of fingers of loose white head, which is dissipating. Not much carbonation on the glass, although I don't tend to get it on this glass, but there's definite carbonation in there. I mean, it looks perfectly clear. So very, very pale, very, very pale amber colour. Looks almost like a non-alcoholic beer I had from Beavertown a while ago. Let's get the nose. Okay, so it's not nice nose for a lager. It's not overpowering, but there's definite hops in there, malt, combination of the two. Neither's really taking precedent. Smells perfectly okay. Let's dive in, see what we've got. Chin chin. So up front, there's a little bit of hoppy bitterness. Then that fades very quickly to a faint sort of malty back end. That's it as far as the flavour goes. The body is very light, as you'd expect for a beer of this nature. An ABV, very light bodied. So it's a little bit of hops, not much, then a bit of malt, and that finished, and then that's it. The malt sort of slightly lingers. Quaffability is really high. I mean, I can imagine on a hot day, pints of that would be, you know, very refreshing. Disappointing in terms of the flavour. There's not really, I suppose, even for a lager, but nevertheless, it's refreshing. I really don't know what more I can say. It's not unpleasant. Yeah. It's inoffensive. Has it changed me? Am I going to sort of introduce this into my beer repertoire? Well, no, but nevertheless, I can see, you know, for me, beer's a passion. It's something that I'm really, I don't know. It's not just interesting, but I just really, taken away with the flavour profiles of the beers that I love. This is perfectly okay, sitting watching a match, while away the hours on a warm summer's day, warm summer's evening. So yeah, I'm not hating on it. Yeah, so pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Like I say, I haven't had this beer in probably, like, literally 20 years, more than 20 years. So I can't even really compare it to what it was like before. I can just take it as it is. So out of 10 then, as a lager. I'll give it 2 ratings, one for like drink as a lager drink and one for value. Yeah, because we cannot ignore the fact that it is so mind-bogglingly cheap. So flavour wise, as a lager, I'm going to give it 5. Value 9. So as a lager, I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. I'm not going to be buying it again. Yeah, but nevertheless, I can see why people drink it. One of our mates, Stella, although we have actually started. We introduced him to some craft lagers. So I noticed last weekend he had some sneaky sort of craft lager, Brewdog Lost Lager, if we can call it that. I think we can. Still independent. So yeah, so we haven't won him over to the hoppy stuff, but we've introduced him to the dark side of craft, if you will. But yeah, so I'm going to give this 7 out of 10, and it's got such a high rating, like I say, because of its price point. You can't knock it. Okay, thanks for watching. Thumbs if you like the video, thumbs down if you don't. Obviously, millions of people drink this, so I'll be intrigued to see if anyone's got an opinion either way. So thanks for watching. Till next time, cheers.